Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, for those who did not realize yesterday, Bitcoin was very close to $14,000. Depending on where you were looking at the exact number, it hit anywhere from 13,700 to around 13,850, depending on, like I said, once again, which cryptocurrency exchange or price metric you were looking at. As this was happening, Bitcoin started to fall. And depending on where you look at the numbers of how much it fell, people are saying that it fell anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 to around $1,800 over the course of a couple of minutes. We do not know exactly why this has happened. However, putting the pieces together, we have this. About a day or two ago, there was information that crypto whale watchers, people who check out large amounts of Bitcoin that are moving back and forth through the network, we're setting their sights on a huge Bitcoin transfer from an unknown wallet to the crypto exchange known as Coinbase. The whale moved 8,884 Bitcoin worth about $101 million, leading traders to wonder if the holder in question planned to sell some of their holdings on the open market. But so far since the transfer, when this was written, the price of Bitcoin has continued to rise. It's around 12,225 at the time of writing, indicating the fears may be unwarranted. What ended up happening, to go forward and to kind of come backward a little tiny bit, what ended up happening was right here is that Coinbase was hit with an outage as the price on Coinbase dropped by $1,800 over the course of 15 minutes. A lot of people were panicking. A lot of people thought that, so no one really knows exactly what happened with Coinbase at the moment. It was gone for a couple of minutes. They said that they came back on. They indicated that, we're back up. But what it seems like to me is whoever this person was who transferred this much Bitcoin onto the website probably tried to sell off as much as possible in order to try and drop the price. It also says right here on the 4th of June, a crypto whale was blamed for triggering a market sell-off after moving 25,000 Bitcoin to Coinbase just before the price of Bitcoin dropped. Last 24 hours, moving coins, so and so and so. This is about the 5th time that this has happened this year. If it had happened only once, I would have said, wow, okay, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of interesting. But it's continuously happening. I don't know if everyone is kind of putting the pieces together in their mind. What's happening is that we keep getting, Bitcoin keeps moving up in price. As Bitcoin moves up in price, the people who keep saying that Bitcoin is going to fall lower, I've noticed that their activity increases and they become more insane. That's the only word I can find in my head, where they are trying to prove to themselves and to the world that the price of Bitcoin is going to go lower. We constantly get a lot of calls that Bitcoin's price is going to go lower whenever we are moving up higher from where we were before. This is why we've seen over the last 5 or 6, 7 days, we've seen Bitcoin's price constantly ticking up. But I'm pretty sure you've also noticed the amount of people in the cryptocurrency space like, no, correction, no, something's going to happen. Something has to go back down. If they were organic, if people were afraid by themselves and the price just started going down, that's one thing. That's a proper correction. People got too greedy. The price has to go down. But every single time the Bitcoin price has been moving up, every single time. And I don't mean like going down by 2%. I don't mean going down by, 3.4% over the course of a 2-day period. I mean, we get these huge dumps onto the market. Someone or I was gonna say something, it might be a robot, who knows? They keep moving large amounts of Bitcoin back and forth. For those who don't know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about moving Bitcoin back and forth, people realized over the course of 2017 and 2018 and even the beginning of 2019 that if you moved large amounts of Bitcoin just from one address to another, it doesn't even have to touch a cryptocurrency exchange. People start to become afraid and they go, why is someone moving this much Bitcoin? Because the indications that we've been having for a very long amount of time for people who have been looking at older addresses is that people who hold large amounts of Bitcoin tend to not touch them. I.e., the idea is if you hold a large amount of Bitcoin and you're not touching it, odds are you're waiting for the next 10 years, you're waiting for some other parabolic movement, or you're simply holding on to it because you are insanely rich and you don't really care about the millions of dollars that you have inside of a digital currency, and therefore you'll touch it maybe one day when you can just use it for everything. So whenever these movements happen, people get a little jittery and they go, why is this happening? Where is this going? So people figured out before that by moving large amounts of Bitcoin, they can kind of scare the market to, oh my gosh, what are they going to do with this? What's going to happen? How can I, protect myself from it? And what usually ends up happening, what we saw happening over the course of 2018, is that during these big movements, people were selling off their Bitcoin in anticipation of the prices going lower, and usually they didn't even end up going lower. Just somebody was just moving Bitcoin, whether it be for nefarious reasons or simply because they had it all on an old computer that was from 1998, and they were like, I should probably not have it on this computer anymore. So the way that things worked out, especially as this came about, what was it, 18 hours, this movement before the actual Coinbase thing, I feel like myself that this was done on purpose. We have yet to have an actual correction of anything Bitcoin over the course of 2019. The price has only gone up, and once again, I don't mean the days where Bitcoin was in the red by 3, 4, 5%. That's nothing. Everyone, or rather a large amount of analysts out there, were calling for a huge correction. Bitcoin's going up far too fast. Why is it going up too fast? No, there has to be a correction. Something has to go, and so and so. And the corrections, air quotes, gigantic air quotes, that we end up having are pretty much just people selling off large amounts. And until we get proper clarification as to exactly what Coinbase says, even if that may not be the truth, it probably leads down to the fact that people were probably overloading their servers. I can only imagine what happened if somebody put in a sell order for $100 million worth of Bitcoin. People probably completely lost their minds, and it caused the entire website to crash. So what Coinbase is saying, or what the Coinbase news is, crypto exchange Coinbase experienced a brief outage on Wednesday afternoon, with both its website and API rendered temporarily inaccessible. It said it right here. An error has occurred on Coinbase as the price of Bitcoin dropped by more than $1,700 in the span of 15 minutes. According to Coinbase's status page, the exchange reported major outages across its website, mobile apps, and API, though its internal systems appeared to be functioning during the period. When reached, a spokesperson told CoinDesk, "We're back up." At 5:17 ET, the exchange's status page noted a fix has been implemented and we are monitoring the results. The platform was rendered inaccessible on mobile and desktop browsers around 8:45 p.m. UTC. Bitcoin's price saw a high of 13,900. Yeah, I'm not exact. I wonder what the real mindset is. I don't know if it's people who hold large amounts of Bitcoin who are afraid that Bitcoin might be moving too quick and therefore they have to act in order for something to happen. But we have never, or rather this year, we have not had an organic slip. Every time that the price has fallen down, it has always been because of a large seller who has sold off a large amount of Bitcoin. But usually what ended up, like the last 3 times that happened, what was very interesting to note is that people were selling off, as the price of Bitcoin was going up, people were selling off large amounts of Bitcoin. And as the price of Bitcoin went down for a couple of seconds, I'm sure you all remember about a week and a half ago, the price went down. Within seconds, it shot back up because there were so many buy orders. I guess realistically, if you sell $100 million at the exact same time, it is sure to probably have a greater effect. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure why people do this. It could be them trying to, it could be a million and one things. Maybe they wanted to cash out. Maybe they were like, I just need the 100 million right now. Maybe they were simply trying to crash the price to get it lower so that they could end up buying more, which usually ends up backfiring for a lot of the people. Maybe they were trying to prove themselves correct in saying that Bitcoin's price was going to go down. We've had so many negative analysts in the cryptocurrency space, and I don't understand why the negativity persists as far as when we see that the maturity of the cryptocurrency space and the Bitcoin space has exploded throughout the course of 2018, and especially the beginning of 2019, why they still have these negative calls. I don't know if they're just negative people in general. Maybe their lives are negative. Maybe they have nothing better to do with their time except for writing stuff on Twitter about how bad everything is in the cryptocurrency space and how prices are going to fall down. I can't really keep up. It's not my, I was going to say not my problem, but it gets really frustrating because for those of you, once again, who've been here for a while, you understand that things are great in the cryptocurrency space, regardless of the amount of times that we have governments talking about regulations or doing this or so and so is going to happen, or the FATF. None of that has had any real effect on the price of Bitcoin. And the only thing that has had an effect on the price of Bitcoin in the wider cryptocurrency market is major players in the cryptocurrency market who keep selling off their cryptocurrencies in order to crash the market down. Insane. So this seems to be the reason as of right now. There is no other reason for someone to transfer $100 million worth of Bitcoin onto Coinbase, especially if it was coming from an unknown wallet. Odds are you probably would not want Coinbase to know that, or any other institution, what have you, to know that you are in possession of $100 million worth of cryptocurrencies. You keep that to yourself, and this is why cryptocurrencies are great. So the intention probably was to sell it off. Odds are, like I said, we will probably get more information from Coinbase sometime today, maybe even not. Maybe the thing that they're going with is that they had an outage, Coinbase had become more robust as time had gone on throughout the course of 2018, so I don't think an outage is a real excuse anymore. Anyway, this is the reason it appears to be why Bitcoin's price has slipped down. That, like I said, at least at the time of me making this video, there doesn't seem to be any other significant news that would have pushed Bitcoin's price to go down, except for someone out there maliciously trying to do it in order to either gain more themselves or to simply prove a point that Bitcoin had to go down in order for the market to remain healthy. Next up, the Raspberry Pi Foundation released a new, more powerful model of its minuscule single-board computer on the 24th of June, which only costs $35 per computer and has a capacity to run full nodes cheaply on the Bitcoin network. Earlier versions of the Raspberry Pi, as it's been called, have been popular with Bitcoin enthusiasts and decentralized advocates as it offers low cost and thus low barrier entry to those interested in running their own full nodes on the network. Doing so allows users to verify their own transactions over the Bitcoin network independently without having to trust third-party wallet services. Unlike miners, who are rewarded with Bitcoin for validating transactions, full nodes do not get compensation for their contribution on the network, which they make in the form of hosting and transmitting updated copies of the blockchain. The new Pi thus apparently poised to make the process and cost of running a full node more efficient for all network participants, whether they be miners, enterprises, or privacy-conscious individuals. 1, not paid advertising. I don't do that on this channel. 2, I think this is very cool. We had discussions about this before. I like the idea of everyone being able to run a full node of every single cryptocurrency that they like, regardless if you just like Bitcoin, if you like 15 other cryptocurrencies. I love the idea of being able to run a full node, to be able to help secure the network where you have money. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of awesome. So we had information before that there was a company who kind of were setting up full nodes or something like that. They had a thing that they were selling, but it was like, I think, $300 to be able to run a full Bitcoin node. So this is $35. Here's the actual information from the people from raspberrypi.org right here. There's all of the specs. And yeah, for 4 gigs of RAM, it's $55. And here's the size of it. I think it has like, was it 6 USB ports or something like that? Where's the actual information? 2 USB 3.0 and 2 USB 2.0 ports. It's kind of cool. Anyway, yeah, I think it's very fascinating. I might even pick one of these up. Once again, not paid advertising. I like the idea of this. Even though it is probably expected in the future, we will probably have multiple mobile phones that will have access to running full nodes as well. This is still very cool because it helps to secure the network for $35. Let's move on. In the never-ending Facebook Libra saga, the Bank of France said that Facebook's Libra must comply with anti-money laundering regulation and seek banking licenses if it offers banking services. Bank of France Governor François Villeroy de Gallo said that Facebook's Libra stablecoin must comply with anti-money laundering regulation and seek banking licenses if it offers banking services. This was said by Reuters. Per the report, while Villeroy admitted during an interview with French magazine L'Obs that there was room to improve cross-border money transfers, he also pointed out that Facebook's Libra project has to comply with existing banking regulations because the risks are increased by the anonymity that Libra users would have. He must never have used Facebook before and doesn't really understand that Facebook is only going to be collecting the data and information from people who are using their cryptocurrency. So the anonymity part of using Facebook's coin is a complete lie. Villeroy also touched on possible requirements for banking license. He said if the project seeks to go beyond payments to offer banking services like deposits, it will then have to be regulated like a bank with all banking licenses in all the countries it operates. Otherwise, it would be illegal. It's not looking too good for Facebook's coin. I don't even think it is a good idea for them to even have a banking license. I feel like you're just kind of setting them up to win even more. The fact that they were going to release this regardless if they had a banking license or not. They even mentioned before, I saw in another article that the people from Facebook had actually contacted multiple countries around the world to ask them if this was okay. Do you mind that we are doing this? And apparently they got the thumbs up. But I think that governments and countries didn't really understand the scope of how wide it was going to be. I think they thought that it would be like a little thing, you know, something on the website, not that it would be a challenge to the central banks of the world. And the fact that they're pretty much telling them to get a banking license, you only solidify the fact that they are trying to become a bank. And if they have this banking license in multiple countries and they are then able to still gather the 2 billion people who are using their platforms and give them the cryptocurrency to use, especially for free, like I think that's part of their plan. I mean, if you dump a tiny bit on everybody and they all get some, they're more likely to use it. Anyway, like I said, this is a never-ending saga. I'm hoping the Facebook news kind of dies down. It's just a lot. Like there's so much hate towards this, which I love, which is great. But it's like countries are really freaking out about this. I thought they were freaking out last week. It's just a lot of, it's getting out of control, and it's interesting to see governments acting like normal people and freaking out in public because of what Facebook is trying to do. Next up, San Francisco-based payments company known as Square has just made Bitcoin deposits available on its Cash App on the 26th of June. Cash App users will now be able to deposit Bitcoin from external wallets into their app Bitcoin address. According to Square's announcement, deposits are limited to $10,000 US worth of Bitcoin in $10,000 in a 7-day period. It also notes that transfers could take several hours to be confirmed on the blockchain, as noted by CoinDesk. Square apparently made Bitcoin deposits previously available for some users. Twitter user and self-proclaimed Bitcoin permabull Dennis Parker recently claimed on the 25th of June that Bitcoin deposits were available, and podcaster Mary Bent posted what appears to be a screenshot of deposit services back in the 18th of June. So this is kind of cool. The people who, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Square is also owned by Jack Dorsey, who's the head of Twitter, who's in love with Bitcoin. I think it's a little weird that you would, I mean, unless, I put it to you this way. I don't use Square app. I'm probably not going to use Square Cash App. For those of you who do use Square's Cash App, can you tell me if you are actually able to buy things with the Cash App through Bitcoin, i.e., if you're depositing your Bitcoin on the Cash App, can you go, I guess this woman is scanning something as she's holding a box, so that kind of answers my question. I assume you can go into stores and then pay with your phone through the Cash App, but you're also then able to pay in Bitcoin. Maybe I just answered my own question. Anyway, so this has happened. It's apparently making major news, is making the rounds. Everyone's talking about it because Jack Dorsey is trying to figure out ways to make Bitcoin more popular, and also to make sure that it becomes a worldwide currency, as he said that it is going to become. Next up, this is something just to kind of rush over very quickly. As Bitcoin has been rising in price, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have also noticed, and you probably also heard at the end of my other videos where I was talking about that the other altcoins are being sold off and being pushed into Bitcoin. And the most fascinating thing is that Bitcoin's dominance, I think even at the moment, even after the price drop, Bitcoin's dominance is around 62% of the entire cryptocurrency market. This usually indicates that we've seen before in the past it's usually a precursor to a gigantic movement in Bitcoin's price upward. We've seen this before and other times in the past. We have a lot of people talking about that eventually they think that we could have an altcoin season, i.e. altcoins are then going to do very well. But it appears at the moment that people are apparently, not even apparently, like we know from the numbers, are selling off their altcoins in droves and pushing them into Bitcoin. And this is causing Bitcoin's market dominance to kind of continue rising. I mean, depending on who you talk to, depending on how much of a maximalist that person is, whoever you're talking to, a lot of people think that this is just the beginning of Bitcoin's ultimate dominance. Bitcoin maximalists believe that in the future, it will only be Bitcoin who has 100% dominance over the entire cryptocurrency network. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe not within the next 5 years. I could see it happening in 20 years if every other coin completely collapses and then we have to denominate things in Satoshis and Bitcoin. But I still think we're going to live in a world where we at least have around 50 to 100 different cryptocurrencies. But at the moment, Bitcoin is definitely showing its dominance, whether it be in the news or whether it just be in the cryptocurrency markets. And it's very fascinating to see this is happening like right before our eyes. All the altcoins Satoshi-wise, are constantly in the red every single day over the last 2 weeks or so, as more people continue to pump their altcoins into the Bitcoin. Here we go. Next up, on the 26th of June, about $1.2 billion in Binance Coin has been transferred in 1.1 seconds with a 1 cent fee on the Binance chain. This was revealed by data published on Whale Alert, a platform tracking significant transactions. Earlier today, CEO of major cryptocurrency exchange Binance, his name is Changpeng Zhao, warned that big transactions should be expected. Once again, this is because whenever people see that large amounts of cryptocurrencies are moving, based on Whale Alert, people get afraid because they go, why are these large amounts of coin moving? What's happening with them? Where are they going? And are they about to be sold off? And is my investment about to be in trouble? He explained that the exchange intended to split its Binance Coin into cold wallets, Binance Coin's cold wallets into multiple addresses. There we go. After the transaction took place, Zhao cited some data about its cost and its speed. He said the transaction cost was 1 cent. It took 1.1 seconds, and it was $1.2 billion in value. The future is here. And then it goes on to talk about the number 8 and it being very lucky, and this is why they chose that amount of Binance Coin to send. Very fascinating for a number of reasons. One for the speed, one for the cost, and I guess the third thing on top of that is that no matter how much progress the cryptocurrency space makes, we still have naysayers who think that crypto isn't going to be the future of everything, and we also still have banks and institutions and MoneyGrams and all the other stuff who still think that they're not going to have to adopt cryptocurrency in the future, as if their current business models aren't trash and that they won't need cryptocurrencies. Anyway, it's nice to see the cryptocurrency space constantly advancing. Everyone around the world may not know about crypto. They most certainly will at some point over the next year. But it's nice to see that we are being able to take part of this and seeing that. I remember it still happens now, like having to transfer money to other people or even like overseas, and it takes 3 days, 7 days. You have to wait for the weekends. If you try and do a deposit or something on a Friday afternoon and your bank is closed, you have to hope and wait that it was in line properly so that you get it on Monday morning. Anyway, let's move on. To kind of finish things off, Norway-based internet browser company known as Opera has launched the iOS version of its mobile web browser known as Opera Touch. According to a press release shared with Cointelegraph, Opera Touch reportedly supports the Ethereum protocol and the Ethereum Web3 Application Programming Interface, or API. This means that the browser accommodates Ethereum-based decentralized applications, or dApps, and all ERC20 tokens, stablecoins, and non-fungible tokens, or NFTs. The browser also is said to feature a cryptocurrency wallet for storing Ether, known as the Opera Crypto Wallet. Not to be mean, and I really mean this just off the top of my head, never mind. Opera released the Android version of its mobile browser at the end of 2018, which offers these same Ethereum-related capabilities. Opera Touch, however, purports to be the first mobile browser on the iOS with Web3 support and a crypto wallet. The head of Opera browsers, whatever, I don't really care what he says. I'm pretty sure he's just boasting about, he's boasting about it being on, all the stuff that they're doing. The point to be made is that in the future, it is believed that nearly every phone, every application, everything will have access to cryptocurrencies in some sort of way. It is nice to see that this is moving forward as quickly as it is. Very interesting to note that they are only at the moment supporting Ethereum and all the ERC20 tokens. I find that quite fascinating. I mentioned before many other times, we do get news like this often. I just don't always report on it because it typically doesn't have to do with the cryptocurrency tokens themselves. However, I do think that it is important to keep this in mind, that this is happening, and that usually when we do end up getting news like this, it is typically about Ethereum. I just tend to not talk about it in the channel. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, I tip my digital hat to you. Everyone else, sit there confused. It's really not important at all. The point is, Ethereum has a lot of money behind it and in front of it and to the side of it. It's kind of everywhere. There's a lot of people supporting Ethereum. Ethereum will be continue to be supported. Someone was asking before. I think I responded back to them in the comment section just in case I did not. People were asking why yesterday Ethereum and the last couple of weeks, why Ethereum was going up in price. And I mentioned pretty much there's so much support behind it. A lot of people think, this is my opinion, and this is kind of also what it is. A lot of people think that because there are other coins that claim to be Ethereum killers, that they're going to do something against Ethereum. Ethereum has a huge head start and has a lot more money than a lot of people really pay attention to. And the fact is the price has also been rising because of the increased adoption, and also because we have confirmation as to when Constantinople is going to launch. I mean, wait, Constantinople, or is it Istanbul? One of them is going to launch, and also we now have a date for when Ethereum 2.0 is going to launch, as this is all in anticipation. And also to keep in mind the fact that the reward for validating transactions has also dropped, I believe, from 5 to 2 ETH over the course of time. So there's a lot of movement behind Ethereum. It's not so much hype anymore. It's that is actual things taking place on it. And by sometime next year, we will probably have an Ethereum that is capable of doing anywhere from 100,000 to 1 million transactions per second. Vitalik Buterin once said last year, he said 100 million transactions per second. Maybe we'll see exactly how that ends up going. Anyway, the point is, this is the Opera Ethereum ERC20 news for today. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Kyle Chasse, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, My Keto Kitchen, Adobo, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Brady Nield, L. Doug, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, Crypto Joe, Mohair Maroney, Carl Birchenoff, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Rai Rai, Yasha Harari, Amy Starsheen, Jeffrey Ramsey, Clara T. Snowden, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Nicholas 101 Peace One Love, Set Suna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich, The Third, RF Dusty, Cody, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Tom Sucks at Basketball, and Sam Skips Leg Day, Jeremy the Photographer, Jim Gardner, Minting Coins, Arthur Yaku, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, and Mick Canick. Thank you all very much for your support. At the moment, for those who are not looking at the screen, it is a sea of red, except for Tether, which is in green because it's being bought up as the coins go down. The major, I don't want to say the word losers, the major price downers for today: XRP is down 12%, Bcash is down 14%, LTC is down 15%, EOS is down 14%, SV is down, it was just down 18%. A lot of red. And it all has to do with that, with I assume, is that greedy person pushing down the prices of Bitcoin. But as of right now, I mean, it kind of is what it is. As the market becomes more mature, things like this will not be so much of an occurrence, or rather, the market will not be as susceptible to things like this happening. To be fair, I think Bitcoin's price was around like 11,400 a couple of hours ago. It's currently at 11,700. It's not too far from 12,000. I think it may take till the end of the day, maybe even until tomorrow, for this red to kind of go away, for things to kind of get back to normal. But I, so large part of the market is spooked. It's really insane what you can do with money. You can make people smile and you can make people frown. It's quite fascinating. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are. Wherever you might be, I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Don't let this get your day down. This stuff happens all the time in cryptocurrencies. If you are relatively new to the cryptocurrency space, it is not for the lighthearted, and I don't mean that as a joke. If you can't handle making 80% over the course of 3 days and then losing 70% the very next day, this might not be the space for you. I find it very fun. I've been through all the ups and downs, so a lot of these things don't even bother me anymore. I think the only thing that would, nope, that wouldn't bother me either. I was gonna say the only thing that would bother me is if Bitcoin started falling down to $100. I would just empty my bank account and try to buy every single bit of Bitcoin that I possibly could. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.